It's Beatlemania all over again as the Beatles release their new and final song Now and Then, plus reissues of their classic greatest hits packages, the Red Album and the Blue Album. And they've filled out the track list with additional songs and put them together in a really nice package. But are they worth picking up? Let's find out. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the Rod Squad channel. Welcome to my unboxing and review of the reissues of the classic Beatles greatest hits packages, the Red Album and the Blue Album. That's right, I went to Sunrise Records here in Hamilton yesterday and picked up the CD versions, not the vinyl versions. That was going to be a very costly proposition, but the CD versions of the Red Album and the Blue Album. Plus, I was able to find this. I know it's been out at most stores, but I wasn't really expecting to find it on the shelves because it's been so popular, and that is the 12-inch single version of the Beatles' new single Now and Then on Sunrise exclusive red vinyl. Very, very excited to find these albums on the shelves. I still love going to the record store. I actually used to work for Sunrise Records. I love going to the record store and finding this stuff on the shelves, going to find new music, even if it's just reissued Beatles albums. I'm a sucker for this stuff, and it was really exciting to just go to the record store and pick up some new Beatles product. And of course, it's a very exciting time to be a Beatles fan right now because they just released the new song Now and Then, which I absolutely love. I did a review of that here on the channel. I'll link that up for you here if you want to watch it. But of course, since they released Now and Then, we're all feeling Beatlemania again, big time. And just like any time the Beatles put out a reissue, but especially this time with the release of the new song, it just puts us back in that Beatles state of mind and just makes me want to listen to their albums all over again. And I was very excited to pick these guys up because I don't own them on CD yet. I have the rest of the Beatles discography on CD, but I don't have the Red Album and the Blue Album. So let's get these guys unboxed and let's talk about them. All right, so before I unbox these babies and unwrap them, I just want to show you the price for both of them was $41.99 at Sunrise Records here in Hamilton. Sunrise Records is a national retail chain for record stores. And I didn't get the vinyl editions. They did have them in stock. I didn't get them because they were super expensive at $100 each, which is a little too rich for my blood. I don't have a lot of the Beatles albums on vinyl. So if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to get Sgt. Pepper or Revolver or the White Album or some of the albums that I don't have on vinyl. But yeah, these were $41.99 each. A little bit pricey, but I don't own these albums on CD yet, so it was worth it for me. All right, so let's get a look at the Red Album. As you can see, they have that classic photo of the Beatles from, I think that was taken in 1962, and then, you know, comparative photo from 1969 of them in the exact same spot. There's the expanded track list, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Taking a look at the inside, pretty similar to just the original vinyl Red Album that came out back in the 70s, I believe. Let's take a look at the discs. There's disc 1. Take a look at disc 2. You can see with the glare. There we go. Little apple on there. And then comes with an expanded booklet as well, which I'm really, really excited to dig into. Has all the lyrics to the songs, as well as some notes on there as well that I really want to check out. Some photos of the boys looking good back in the day. So this runs from 1962 till 1966. So Love Me Do all the way till Tomorrow Never Knows on Revolver. And then we got the Blue Album, which runs from 1967 and 1970. There's the boys again looking really, really good. Same kind of deal on the inside, just a little bit of a different tint on that photo. Got the expanded track list. Taking a look at the discs. There you have disc number 1, disc number 2. That looks really cool. And a similar kind of just expanded booklet here, which looks really, really neat. Sorry about the ring light, guys. Expanded booklet. Really excited to dig into this. We got some lyrics to the songs as well, which is really cool. Both really, really cool looking packages. I know it would probably look a lot better on vinyl, but I'm more of a CD collector. I've actually not collected. I have a lot of vinyl, but not nearly as many as I have on CD. My Beatles collection is primarily on CD. These packages look really, really good. Red and blue. Just really awesome to have these in my collection. And I just really, really love these packages. The Beatles always tend to put, or Apple tends to put a lot of effort and a lot of work to make these worthwhile for the 41 or 42 bucks that I'm paying for these. So I feel like these are hefty packages, even for CDs, and I think they're definitely worth the price. And there's the expanded track list on both editions on here as well. The Beatles have expanded the track list on here to include more songs. I think to be a little bit just more representative of the band as a whole, because they have so many classic songs. Of course, there's the big singles, but then there's those key album tracks that are just as popular as the big singles. So you have songs like I Saw Her Standing There and Twist and Shout from Please Please Me, This Boy, which is such a key B-side, one of the best best early Beatles songs. Roll Over Beethoven. I feel like there's a lot more representation for George Harrison on these in general, which is great. I think that they wanted to be able to represent him a little bit more on here. George Harrison obviously contributed so much to the Beatles in terms of his songwriting, so I'm really glad to see him better represented on here. You Really Got a Hold on Me. You Can't Do That from A Hard Day's Night, which I felt like not really an essential track. The second half of Hard Day's Night is great, but doesn't really feature anything that I would consider essential for these. If I Needed Someone and Taxman, again, they're better representation of George Harrison. Got to Get You Into My Life, which I really love because that was always one of my favorite Beatles songs growing up. I'm Only Sleeping, which I think is a key song from Revolver, one of John's best from that record. Definitely should be there. Here, There, and Everywhere, and Tomorrow Never Knows. I think those are all key additions for 1962 to 1966. And then on the Blue Album side, there are some tracks on here that they've added as well. Within You, Without You, which is not one of my favorite George Harrison tracks. Probably would have picked something else. It's not one of my favorite songs of his or from Sgt. Pepper. So I understand why they wanted to have more Harrison on here, but didn't really get that one. Dear Prudence, Glass Onion, Blackbird, and the White Album, all really great choices, all essential Beatles tracks that I feel like maybe I would have put Happiness as a Warm Gun over Glass Onion, but that's just me. Hey Bulldog, absolutely a great track that needed to be included on here. Oh Darling from Abbey Road, I Want You, She's So Heavy, absolutely essential tracks from Abbey Road that needed to be included on here. I Me Mine, again, not one of my favorite George Harrison tracks. I think obviously they wanted to include more George Harrison. I think that was part of the deal, was to include more of him, even things out a little bit between him, John, and Paul. But otherwise, I thought that was really good. And they included Now and Then on here. Not sure why they didn't include Free as a Bird and Real Love on there as well, because that would have made it an even better package for me, a more complete package. But they included Now and Then, which I picked up on vinyl on 12-inch Sunrise exclusive. So let's unbox this baby. All right, there you go. Let's take a look at the 12-inch Now and Then vinyl. There's the cover. I know a lot of people are criticizing this cover, but I think it looks okay. I don't know what people are expecting, although I did really love the artwork that the Beatles put up on the Now and Then video on YouTube. The thumbnail for that looks pretty awesome. That could have made a cool cover for this. I think that would have actually been a lot better. But anyways, there's the back of it as well, with a little Beatles thing there going on. That looks really, really cool. A little clock there, I think is what it is. Looks like a clock. Now and Then, the new Beatles song, handwritten lyrics by John Lennon. Very cool. As well as all the credits for Now and Then, if you guys can see that. Sorry if it doesn't look great. All the credits, everything that you need for the song, for Love Me Do. Just take a look at the credits for this. Vocals, John Lennon, Paul McCartney. Backing vocals, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr. Guitars, George Harrison. Guitars, bass, piano, electric, harpsichord, and shaker, Paul McCartney. Drums, tambourine, and shaker, Ringo Starr. Additional credits, string arrangement, Paul McCartney, Giles Martin, and Ben Foster. Mixed by Spike Stent, who's mixed a lot of stuff. If you're an Oasis fan, he mixed Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. Mastered and cut to vinyl, Miles Showell. Engineered by Jeff Emmerich, Steve Orchard, Greg McAllister, John Jacobs, Steve Genowick, Bruce Sugar, and Keith Smith. So nice to see that Jeff Emmerich was on there as well, the late, great Jeff Emmerich. Really, really cool. Recorded at Hog Hill Studio, Rockabella West, and Capitol Studios, thanks to Yoko Ono Lennon, Olivia Harrison, Sean Ono Lennon, and Danny Harrison. Very, very cool. I'm going to be reading that after this. You can guarantee that as well. And then let's check out the vinyl itself on red vinyl, Sunrise exclusive, red vinyl, old school Parlophone label. That's for Love Me Do. And then you have the Apple label for Now and Then. Sorry about the ring light, guys. But there you go. That's a look at the Now and Then vinyl. Very, very cool package. I was really, really happy to find this in the store yesterday. And back to the Red Album and Blue Albums, talking about the 2023 mixes on here. I've only had a chance to listen to 1962 to 1970, and the mixes sound fantastic. I know there's maybe a little bit of controversy, but there's always a little bit of disagreement about modernizing the Beatles mixes and making them more suitable for streaming, suitable for younger audiences to get into them. And I'm totally into that because the old mixes just don't work. Actually, I remember I was back when I was in university, a friend of mine, we ran this kind of like a community group center for people to come, for kids to come and play after school. And we used to play Beatles music for them. They didn't really like it. They wanted to listen to their own music, but we played Beatles music for them. And it always sounded so weird coming out of the speakers because everything's just so binary. Everything's either in this ear or that ear. So to have a stereo mix where things are a lot more balanced, things sound a lot more modern is absolutely cool for me, especially for some of the later tracks on this. Once you start getting into stuff in 1964, 1965, 1966, when the Beatles really started paying attention to the tones that they were putting on record and the sounds that they were making. You could really tell those kind of things on the later songs for the 2023 mixes. So once you get into stuff like, of course, like Paperback Writer on this one, or Eleanor Rigby, or Taxman, anything that's bass heavy where Paul's doing some really cool bass stuff, sounds great on here. I imagine it will sound good on here as well. Haven't had a chance to really dig into 1967 as well as much as 1970, but as far as I'm concerned, those 2023 mixes are awesome. So all in all, I think it's definitely worth picking these up if you're a Beatles fan like me but don't yet own the Red and Blue albums on CD or vinyl. I went with the CDs. If you don't own them yet, it's absolutely worth picking up. If you're looking to complete your Beatles collection like I am, I'm always looking for new things to complete my Beatles collection. A lot of people grew up listening to these albums, and that's the reason why they're Beatles fans. So I think they are essential overall to the Beatles discography. The vinyl, a little bit too expensive for me at $100 each. Don't have that kind of money, even by getting these guys, getting Red and Blue on CD and the Now and Then exclusive red vinyl. That ran me $120 at Sunrise Records. That's after taxes. Not super cheap, but I would have been more expensive if I went with the vinyl. But if you don't have these guys yet on CD or vinyl, I think they're definitely worth picking up, and you should definitely pick up the Red and Blue albums and add them to your Beatles collection. And that's it, guys. That's my unboxing and review of the new Beatles albums, or reissues, Red, Blue, as well as the Beatles 12-inch new single, Now and Then. Really happy to walk into the record store and buy some new Beatles stuff on the shelves yesterday. Let me know if you picked them up, if you listened to the new mixes. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to toss us a like. We'd appreciate that. Subscribe to us here on the Rock Squad channel if you like to rock out as much as we do. And make sure to check us out on social media, Instagram and TikTok at Rock Squad Pod. But I'll see you guys for another video here on the Rock Squad channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.